Hello and welcome to another MCO market update on XRP. XRP has moved deeper into the previously communicated support zone between $1.21 and $2.09. I mean, this is the standard support zone. It's getting a bit scary, I guess, for some people. However, please note that we are still way above the 50% retracement at $1.21, which I've been highlighting for the last weeks as key support level that must hold to keep this scenario alive. So if anything, at the moment, the lower we go, at least as long as we're holding this support area, there's a better reward to risk ratio for those who are looking for an entry, as long as the pullback, however, only remains corrective. So that means as long as we get 3 wave movements to the downside, the overall upside scenario remains valid that we discussed in previous updates. Also, you might remember we tracked the triangle pattern before, but as I said, these are very, very fragile. They do often change, transform, turn into something different. So whenever we're tracking a wave 4 correction, the levels are more important. And $1.21 is just the key level to watch here. Any decisive break below would make this scenario far less likely for one more high. But it doesn't change the shorter time frame, really. I mean, so far on the smaller time frame, there hasn't really been any upside setup. Yeah, there hasn't really been any trade setup with high probability to the upside. No so-called 5-wave move up followed by a 3-wave pullback. These are typically the patterns that we are watching for on the smaller time frame and the larger time frame. But on the smaller time frame, to confirm a low of sorts in place, well, that hasn't happened yet, right, in this range. Rather, what we've seen is just corrective rallies overall. So the current idea is actually that the market is moving down here in an ABC structure. We're now approaching key support. There is a small cluster of support around $1.55 and $1.57. So there could be a bounce from this current region. But as you will see on the smaller time frame, it doesn't necessarily look complete yet, this move to the downside. Not after the triangle pattern got invalidated. But even in the triangle, you might remember that from previous videos, I said the correction is likely not finished. It will move either sideways or spend some time more sideways oriented. Or if we go lower, then that needed to be confirmed with a break below $1.89 and then $1.77. Both levels broke. So we had our signals. That unlocks prices in the region between $1.55 and $1.21 next. Let's take a look at the smaller time frame for XRP. And you will see, apologies, you will see that the C wave to the downside, so yellow scenario is preferred. And I mean, maybe it was a triangle. That there are, so I've labeled it as an A wave down, a B wave up, and then this C wave to the downside could be a 5-wave move, but as a diagonal pattern, because the wave 1 is a 3-wave move. Then we had a wave 2. Now in a third wave, could get a 4-5 pattern. Now, that being said, it is entirely possible to identify a triangle. Yeah. So we talked about that triangle. It just didn't break to the upside. It might have just simply broken to the downside. So maybe this wave B sits here. Would it change a lot? Not really. It wouldn't really change a lot. In both cases, the trend is down, especially as long as this end of the triangle is holding. That's at around $2.17. Now, interestingly, even in the scenario that I have on the chart here, where we're tracking the C wave down as an ending diagonal pattern, because wave 1 is a 3-wave move, the $2.16, $2.17 level is key resistance. So only if the price can break above this zone, we have a low of sorts in place. Yeah. I'm not so interested in whether this here really was a formal triangle and we're now just in the last leg down, or the structure is somehow different. Overall, as long as we stay below the $2.16, $2.17 area, further downside is expected. At least one more low here based on the wave count seems likely, and it seems likely we're testing 155 next, maybe 133 or 121. Ideally, any decisive break below this is avoided. Yeah. So Maybe a little lower here in this internal third wave, then a bounce, and then another low. That's at least what I'm watching for. If anything changes, I will let you know. I hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.